दोस्तों मैं प्रोफेसर डी.के. गिरी इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स पढ़ाता हूँ। मैं आप लोगों को आज यूक्रेन में जो युद्ध का बादल मंडरा रहा है, बल्कि युद्ध एक तरह से शुरू हो गया है, उसके बारे में कुछ बताना चाहूँगा। हमारा यूक्रेन विदेशी नीति है और कुछ लोग विदेश में हमारा दोस्त हैं, तो ये सुनना चाहेंगे, तो थोड़ा मैं इंग्लिश में उसको बोलना पसंद करूँगा कि बाकी लोग भी समझ सकें। सो यूक्रेन एंड रशिया आर almost in a war now. Russia will not let Ukraine go out of its sphere of influence as NATO forces led by United States want to bring Ukraine into NATO framework. That will mean the NATO and Russia will do everything possible not to allow that. That is the bone of contention between the West and Russia. Ukraine has been in crosshairs of both these power blocks since 2014, when Russia invaded Ukraine and annexed Crimea, the Russian-speaking area. Since then, or even before, there are Russian rebels, Russian-speaking rebels working in Ukraine, and Russia has recognized them. Earlier, in 2014, Ukraine had a pro-Russian president, and after he left office, the new president has veered towards the West. But the military capabilities and even the size of both the countries are absolutely asymmetrical. Ukraine is a small country compared to the huge continental size of Russia. Ukraine is important to Russia for various reasons, not only its proposed allegiance to NATO, but it is the second most populous country in the former Soviet Union. Ukraine had a big hand in construction of the Union of Socialist Republic of Soviet Union at that time. It also was responsible for the breakup of the Union. It was the Ukraine referendum of 1991 which sealed the fate of Russia as a united political unit. Lenin used to say, if we lose Ukraine, we lose our head. And Russians claim that Ukraine and Russia, or Ukrainians and Russians, have a common ancestry. So from Tsar to the present regime, the Russian leadership has claimed Ukraine as a part of Russia. And Putin, in his last 22 years of leadership of Russia, has been trying to bring Ukraine back into Russian sphere of influence. And Putin said that breakup of Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical tragedy in the last century. So Ukraine, while it is caught between both the big powers, former superpowers, it has quite a few options. In fact, not much option. It has to lean on either Russia or the American bloc. So this is a difficult situation diplomatically for the international community. Government of India insists that de-escalation and demilitarization in the Indo-Ukraine border is the only option. Diplomatic solution is the only option. It can neither persuade Russia to back off, nor can it convince United States to give up NATO's option of expansion towards the east, towards Russia. So, unfortunately, Ukraine has become a theater of big power rivalry, and Ukrainians are really under a siege. Their economy is in a bad shape, otherwise Ukraine economy is normally bumping and vibrating. But the clouds of war with Russia hanging over Ukraine is really throttling their growth and choking them. Lots of foreign nationals from Ukraine are leaving the country. US and its allies are imposing more and more sanctions, but it's not bothering Putin. He has ordered military action already. Ukraine soldiers have died in resistance. More than 100,000 troops were stationed at at Russian and Ukraine border, and so the situation is really alarming. If any sleep is done by either Russia or even the Western countries, if the Western powers decide to send their troops in support of Ukraine to push Russian forces back, it might lead to a serious international situation, the dreaded Third World War, because other countries may be drawn in. So situation is really grave, and the entire international community should really buckle up to de-escalate the situation and find a diplomatic solution into Russian and Ukraine conflict. Thank you, friends.